Excited about bringing on my next guest. I have a couple of newbies in here with me. We're live on Facebook, so I do want to say hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We're going to share the show later on. My next guest is Hannah Johnson. She is a wealth strategist. She's the owner of HLJ Growth. Welcome to the show. I want you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do, and what HLJ Growth is.
Absolutely. HLJ Growth, it stands for Helping Lead and Jumpstart Growth. So we believe in helping people actually, if they haven't started their wealth building, help them get there with whatever tools they want to use. And a lot of people don't know where to go to see what tools are their options. They only hear what they've heard from other friends and maybe some other advisors. So that's really what we do, is we go in and show all the options. We don't just have our blinders on and focus on one aspect of wealth. We look at it all and see where their comfort level is and get them in there.
Well, I have to ask you some questions that are not on here. I just
Okay.
want to ask a couple of things. This is something that I would ask you, is when's the right time for somebody to call you?
Oh, it's always the right time. When you're thinking about it, call then. Because a lot of times people say, okay, I'll call her tomorrow, and it never happens. Tomorrow never comes. So
Okay.
we definitely don't want to put that off. So it doesn't matter how young or how old you are, there's always options.
Right.
So we want to take a look at what that looks like and see what we can do.
Okay, so I want to talk about this. That you talk about a concept that many never heard of. You said to me before, I'm going to say it that way, living benefits. Can you tell a little bit about those and what you mean by that?
Absolutely. So living benefits are there to actually help save your bacon, if I can say, in the event of a major sickness or illness. We all know that healthcare is an ever-changing thing, and companies are constantly just auto-declining claims. Well, a lot of times, when we're in a financial situation because of a health situation, we need big piles of cash. A lot of times money solves a lot of problems.
Oh, really?
Yes. So really, living benefits is a policy that you can take out on an individual's life at 14 years young, or 14 days, 14 days young or older, and really have access to that big pile of cash in the event that something happens. So think of it, the closest thing I have to compare it to is think of it as a life insurance policy that you don't have to die to use. You can actually access that while you're still alive if a major sickness or illness happens.
I don't think a lot of people know that they even exist, right?
Correct.
And so I think it's important. I know about that. I have one, so I'm really very, very happy to say that, because I was listening to somebody a long time ago, and it sounded like I could do something for my family, because I'm that single, entrepreneur, single woman,
Yep.
and I think they are great. I really do. And I think people need to listen, and when you hear these things, maybe it's you or someone that please tell them about this. Now, your service when you work with people, it's a free service to
Yes.
the client,
Yes.
okay? And you said that you work nationwide.
Yes.
And her phone number to call is 928-260-2464. Her website is HLJgrowth.com. Okay, let's go into this. I'm going to say it your way because I got to read it just like it says, okay? Another phrase that you use is rescuing money from tax jail. Okay, first of all, what's tax jail?
Well, a lot of times the only products that we're told to invest in to grow wealth are tax deferred accounts. And those funds are held in tax jail because if you try to access them before 59 and a half, you get to pay a penalty.
So how do you liquefy like the 401ks and safely?
Well, you either wait till you're 59 and a half, or there are some situations that if you go through a hardship, you are allowed to take that out without that penalty. However, I recommend looking at other options. There's a ton of other options out there where you're not held in tax jail. The account can grow just as well as a 401k or IRA, and it's liquid. So you can actually pull money out, use it for what you need to use it for, and pay yourself back later.
So right now, I'm just sitting here thinking about this is all about money here,
Yes.
right? And what's really important is everybody's worried about the money.
Absolutely.
And needing money and having access to it. So it makes sense to have this conversation. Even if you have already in place things that
Yes.
you can also change that.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Absolutely, there are certain processes that we can go through to get that money out of tax jail where you won't necessarily be the one paying all the taxes or the penalties. Now, we have to have a certain amount of funds in order to do those processes, but it's worth a conversation, is it not? If you don't have to worry about paying those higher taxes once we retire, or ever worrying about market down crashes when you're in retirement and running out of money to have to go back to work, nobody wants to do that. And statistics tell us that the two reasons why people freak out about money in retirement is they're afraid it's gonna run out and it's not gonna be enough.
Right.
And we don't wanna do that.
And everybody is worried about money right now anyway,
Absolutely.
right? So the phone number to call again is 928-260-2464. This is a free service to you, and she works nationwide. You can check her out on her website. It's HLJGrowth.com. Financial planning can be overwhelming, okay? How does HLJ Growth simplify this and help people move from anxiety to confidence?
It starts with a conversation, and then we also educate. A lot of products and services that I use to accomplish what we want aren't really mainstream services and products. So it really does take a level of education, and honestly, let's think about it. Were we taught finances in school?
No.
Right?
Right.
So unless we had parents that taught us, or we have figured it out along the way of life, we don't really know what those financial principles are. And that's really where I come in and say, here's what the financial principles are. How can we implement them into your unique situation? And then we work together to do that.
And I like when you say that your unique situation, because it really does start off with their story. Where are you? What's
Absolutely.
going on with you? You're going to be totally different than your neighbor and all of that, right?
Absolutely. All of our wants are different. Some people want to retire with no debt. Some people don't care about having a house debt, but they want to go travel around the world. Some people want to go and live on a boat for their retirement. Some people want to go live in an RV for their retirement. So it really just depends on what it is that you're looking for and gearing and designing that strategy to make sure we accomplish that.
So let's go with this. Could you give a little hypothetical example? Say a married couple in their 40s.
Absolutely. So typically in our 40s, we're married, maybe have a couple of kids, working really hard, whether an entrepreneur or not. That's where we can actually decide, okay, are we in a W-2 position? Are we doing a 401k? Is the company matching? Let's not leave free money on the table. But any other funds that we want to set aside, let's actually create a different strategy to make sure that not all of our funds are going into tax deferred accounts. Because later on in retirement, we have the IRMA tax, we have Social Security, we have Medicare, all is affected when we take funds out of those tax deferred accounts. Some of these tax-free accounts are awesome because the government doesn't look at those.
Right.
So
Go ahead.
huge piece right there
Right.
of making sure that we utilize what we have. Maybe, again, not well known, but a lot of times in a W-2 position, what options are we given for retirement?
Not very much. One thing, and that is
401k.
the 401k. But I'm going to say this too. You know, what she said earlier, and I think a lot of people think, you know, I'm too old and it's too late.
Yeah.
I think more people think that than anything.
Yeah.
Even if you have all of these things, it doesn't matter. It may not even be enough depending on what your
Absolutely.
situation is, right?
That's where we can use the rule of 72 to really do the math and make sure it is going to be enough. Are we putting away enough today to make sure we're going to get where we want to go?
Well, I think it's really important, especially when we're living in the times that we are, especially right now. That phone number again to call is 928-260-2464. Again, this is a free service to you. It makes sense to have that consultation. And please, it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. The younger, the better, but you know what? It doesn't matter. I know for me, I am older, and we talked about the life insurance with living benefits for a minute there, and I'm definitely older, but it was worth it for me, absolutely, and it wasn't that much money. I think a lot of people think, oh, it's going to be too much money. Go ahead.
It's not. A lot of times it's not. And I have clients ranging from the 15-month-old all the way to 76. That's my oldest client, and we just got started with him a couple of months ago.
Right.
So it really is never too late
It is
to
never
have a
too late.
conversation.
Absolutely. Find something that's right, and that is her job. You think outside the box for your
I
client,
do.
right?
I do.
That phone number again, it's 260-2464. She works nationwide, and that website is HLJGrowth.com. Okay, we got a couple more minutes here. So beyond investing, how do you help clients build a durable legacy?
Oh my goodness, we set up Rockefeller plans. That's
Okay,
what
good.
we
I'm
do.
coming.
Right. Right, and that's one of the things that people are struggling with today is a lot of adults are saying, you know what, I had to figure it out. I wasn't left anything from my parents, so I have to choose between having a good retirement that I want and leaving stuff for my kids. So they're like, forget the kids, they'll figure it out. Well, what if we could do both?
I do agree 100%. Folks, listen up. It's so important when you hear these things. Maybe it's you, maybe it's someone that you know, but definitely have that consultation with them. It's free, it makes sense to do. Find out how she can help. Again, that's 928-260-2464.